that crazy son of a bitch actually did it. We've got a good Suicide Squad movie. What's up guys, my name is Pascal. If you're returning to the channel, glad to have you back. If you're a newcomer to the channel, glad to welcome new people in. Love to see new faces around here. So yeah, intros aside, let's get right into the Suicide Squad. Suicide Squad is a stylish, fun, entertaining movie that I believe has a lot of rewatchability. It is a far cry from the original Suicide Squad, something that lacked any heart, any humor, any kind of logic, to be completely honest. Whereas this one has characters we actually care about, a plot that makes sense, and just oozes kind of style that you can tell came from the mind of James Gunn, as he so aptly put it in the trailers. And it's the furthest thing away from like a corporate mishmash, which is what the original was. It was just that. It had no soul, no logic, nothing. This is the furthest thing away from a corporate kind of pasted together movie. And I think a lot of people were skeptical when it was announced that the Suicide Squad was being remade, but slowly as announcements of the cast, of the director James Gunn coming in, swayed people's opinion. And once the trailers dropped, I think people were actually excited to watch it. I know I was. So right off the bat, this movie does a couple things that its predecessor didn't. It gives us characters that appear interesting and ones that we could find ourselves caring about. And it gives us a plot in a really bite-sized but not too dumbed down way that it insults the audience. This movie's opening sequence is one of the most fun I've had watching a movie in a while, and it manages to hook me in within the first 5 to 10 minutes. Being an ensemble cast movie, the one thing this movie really needed to get right was its characters, and I think it did in a big way. Fan favorites like Harley Quinn return, and I feel like Margot Robbie's only getting better in this role. If you look back at the original Suicide Squad, the direction kind of didn't really know where to take it. They were just trying to make her this crazy hot chick who had a penchant for shooting people, which isn't quite enough for me, but she did her best with what she had. With Birds of Prey, you kind of see that evolution a little bit, and in the Suicide Squad, you see her being her quirky, kind of insane self, but at the same time you see more of a depth to her when things actually get serious. Idris Elba comes in as our kind of main protagonist, replacing Will Smith in the previous one. And this isn't a knock on Will. I like Will Smith a lot, you know, despite his attempts at YouTube stardom. I always felt like he wasn't the right fit as the leader of the Suicide Squad. It just didn't really sit well with me. But with Idris Elba, right, we've already seen him play kind of the villainous role in a couple of films. He's a certified badass, and I think he really kills it in his role as Bloodsport. He has witty one-liners, he's self-loading, all the things you want in a good anti-hero. Most of the fight scenes that involve Bloodsport are usually one of the most stylistically shot, and his outfit I thought they got absolutely spot on. But Bloodsport would have suffered if he didn't have John Cena's Peacemaker opposite him. I know I was ragging on him a little bit in my Fast 9 review, you can check it out right here, but I thought he absolutely steals the show in Suicide Squad. He hams it up in a big time, which is a throwback to his WWE days. He's perfect for the role of Peacemaker, and he is almost the perfect foil to Bloodsport. And speaking of characters kind of bouncing off one another, I feel like they really got the casting right in this movie. And not just that, they're able to build up their relationship and friendship in a believable way. Whereas going back to the first movie, we don't see any growth at all. Everyone's just kind of shoehorned into this friendship that it's kind of disrespectful to the audience to make us try and think that they've gone close even though they haven't really done anything together. There's so many characters to talk about in this movie, and I don't think I have the time to go through all of them. We need to talk about Rick Flag, okay? Because Rick Flag, if you remember or don't, he was perhaps one of the most boring characters in the original movie. But in this one, he's not the most exciting by a stretch, and he's not supposed to be, but he oozes this kind of leadership and this kind of coolness to him. He's not supposed to be the most entertaining character, that's not his role, but somehow we still care about him. How James Gunn managed to make Rick Flag go from one of the most boring characters in the original Suicide Squad to one of the best ones in this movie really speaks volumes about his understanding of character work and character development. How this movie has managed to make me care about mercenaries, a shark-human hybrid, a freaking starfish monster, a guy who pukes out polka dots, and of course my guy Weasel. You know, shout out to Weasel, man. He's not in the movie very long, but he's just such a stupid looking character that I can't help but absolutely love. I know I've talked up the Suicide Squad a bit, but it does come with a couple of flaws, most notably in its pacing. I think a lot of it is due in part to the explosive nature of its opening. A lot of things happen that really grip us, so I think a bit of a middle or second act sag was always to be expected. In hindsight, I think they perhaps could have chopped up a couple of scenes and actually put them together. I'm thinking of the Harley escape scene, or maybe they could have shortened it a little bit, because while Harley, you know, she's a great character, we want to see more of her. I think they could have trimmed a bit of fat in that long sequence where she's being held hostage. I was a little bit worried that the final battle would be very drawn out and just your typical CGI monster battle, but it wasn't that. It incorporates a lot of things that the movie sets up earlier, which eventually comes back in the final battle. And because our character's mission does change a peep towards the end, the goals also change, which allow the final battle to be prolonged, but not in a way that makes us bored or uninterested. So yeah, my final verdict, I think the Suicide Squad is a very stylish, very fun, very rewatchable movie. I'm really glad that they decided to give this license another chance, and I think it's paid off big time, because if DC wasn't on the up before, it definitely is now. So my verdict on Suicide Squad, if you haven't watched it yet, is go give it a watch. I'm giving it an 8.2 out of 10, whatever that means, right? Yeah, 8.2. Lot of fun, great characters, and it doesn't exactly sequel bait, but it does leave the door open for future spin-offs in the series. So yeah, that was my review of Suicide Squad. If you guys liked the video, please leave a like down below and subscribe to the channel for more. I try to upload once a week. So far I've been keeping to that timeline, but yeah, till then, see you guys.